Hari Om friends, welcome once again to our Sanatan Dunya channel, your spiritual home. In this video, I shall be giving my commentary upon verses 19 to 26 of the 10th chapter of the Bhagawad Geeta. For those of you who have not yet watched the commentaries on the previous verses of the Gita, I suggest you go ahead and watch these videos before proceeding further with this video. These videos are available in the playlist titled Bhagavad Geeta Commentary, all 18 chapters. Before I go ahead and give the commentary upon these verses of the 10th chapter of the Bhagavad Geeta, I have a small request to make. If you have not already subscribed to my channel, then I suggest you do so that you may be updated about forthcoming videos uploaded to this channel. So let's move on. The 19th to 22nd slokas of the 10th chapter of the Gita are as follows. The Blessed Lord said, "Yes, I will tell you of my splendorous manifestations, but only of those which are prominent, O Arjuna, for my opulence is limitless. I am the Self, O Gurukesha, seated in the hearts of all creatures. I am the beginning, the middle, and the end of all beings. Of the Adityas, I am Vishnu. Of lights, I am the radiant sun. I am Marichi of the Maruts, and among the stars, I am the moon. Of the Vedas, I am the Samaveda. Of the demigods, I am Indra. Of the senses, I am the mind. And in living beings, I am the living force, knowledge or consciousness." The commentary of the mentioned four slokas is as follows. In the previous sloka, Arjuna asked Lord Krishna about his glorious manifestations within nature so that it would enable him and all other devotees listening to the Gita to focus their minds on the Lord. Lord Krishna represents Brahman or the Supreme Spirit. He is the personification of Brahman. As Brahman, the Lord is all-pervading and omnipresent. But for we average seekers to fix our minds on this omnipresent and all-pervading feature of the Supreme is not easy. Hence, in the previous sloka, for the benefit of and on behalf of all we spiritual seekers, Arjuna had asked the Lord to enumerate his glories and attributes from within nature or the creation so as to make it easy for we seekers to fix our minds and attention on the Lord. By constantly remembering these features, aspects, and opulence of the Supreme, slowly we shall develop the ability to contemplate the nameless, formless, and attributeless aspect of the Supreme called Nirguna Brahman, or simply God, the infinite consciousness. So, in reply to this question of Arjuna, before the Lord starts enumerating all his opulence and features within creation, he at the outset informs Arjuna that he will only be able to enumerate those aspects of creation where his splendor is in full glory. For to enumerate all the glories and manifestations of the Lord would not be possible, as God is present in everything and there is too much of diversity and too many glories of the Lord within creation, and to enumerate all of them would be impractical and overwhelming. Hence the Lord says that he shall enumerate those glories of his which are prominent and which deserve to be mentioned among all of his innumerable glories. So to start off, Bhagavan says that he is the self or spirit dwelling in the hearts of all living beings. It is very befitting for the Lord to start with this aspect of his, as the self is the very basis of life all over creation and is the substratum of the whole creation. All beings in this creation, whether they be living or non-living, animate or inanimate, all contain the touch of life called soul or spirit or consciousness or Atman or Brahman. The spirit is what distinguishes a dead creature from a creature that is alive. The spirit or Atman is what enables all creatures to see, hear, taste, touch, smell, think, feel, understand, and interact with all the other creatures in the creation. In fact, all creatures are in reality this Atman, and only outwardly they have the body of either an animal or a tree or a human being. As Puja Gurudev Swami Chinmayananda ji says, man is a soul and has a body, and not the other way around. In other words, we are not inert bodies and minds with a soul within us that is something else or apart from us. Rather, we are souls or Atman with the threefold instruments of body, mind, and intellect. We are a soul with a body and not a body with a soul. Lord Krishna had already spoken about this soul or self or Atman in the second chapter of this Gita, wherein he said that the self is unborn, undying, immortal, eternal, imperishable, unchanging, and full of knowledge and bliss. So, from the understanding of Advaita Vedanta, God is the self, and we as jivas too are the self and have a body mind, and hence, since both God and the jiva are the very same self, there is no difference between us and God from the absolute standpoint. Further, Bhagavan says that he is the beginning, middle, and end of all beings. Before a body is born or even conceived in the womb of a mother, it is first the soul or Atman, which is who we are and God is too, which enters the fetus and lends life to the fetus. If the soul weren't to enter the body of the baby in the womb of the mother, the body would not be able to develop. For the soul can verily exist without a body, but a body cannot function and live without a soul. Hence, Lord Krishna aptly says here that he is the beginning of all beings. Now, how is God the middle of all beings? The answer is simple. For any creature to exist as a living being, it must contain the touch of life called soul or Atman, which is what God is at the individual level. The middle of all living beings is characterized by growth, development, change, decay, and eventually death. All the changes that take place in the bodies of creatures are all possible only because of the presence of life in the form of the soul in the body. The hair, nails, and other body parts grow and develop due to the presence of the self or God in all creatures. And later on, in the old age, when these creatures age, their decay and deterioration and other diseases is also possible because of the presence of the self in them. And then finally, in this sloka, Bhagavan says that he is also the end of all beings. Whatever is created has also to be destroyed one day or the other. Whether it be living creatures or shops, businesses, organizations or civilizations or governments or places or buildings, or for that matter anything in the creation that is created also comes with an expiry date. This is certain. Hence, the end of all creatures too is indirectly caused by God, who has created this law that whatever is finite and created must have an end sooner or later. Hence, the Lord says that he is also the end of all beings and things in creation. Then in the next sloka, Bhagavan says that of Adityas, he is Vishnu. Now, before going further, we must bear in mind that Bhagwan or Brahman, though all-pervading, is only mentioning those aspects of creation where his opulence or glory is at its maximum in that aspect. So, Bhagwan is saying that of Adityas he is Vishnu. That is because of all Adityas, Vishnu is the greatest. Similarly, when he says that of sense organs he is the mind, that is also because of all the senses, mind is the chief or the most important. So throughout all the aspects enumerated by the Lord, he is highlighting those aspects where his glory is at its peak or maximum or utmost in that category of the creation. I hope I have explained this point clearly. Further, Bhagavan says that of lights or luminous bodies, he is the radiant sun. In nature, we have a few important sources of light, such as the sun, moon, stars, lightning, and also, of course, in this modern age, we have artificial lights such as bulbs, tube lights, floodlights, and such things. But of all the sources of light that we know of as denizens of this world, sun is the greatest and most glorious. No amount of scientific advancement can ever replace the natural, healing, beneficial, and splendid light of the sun. In fact, Bhagwan is saying that of lights he is the sun, not just because sun is the brightest light that we know of, but also because sun's light supports life all over this world and in other planets too. In fact, without the sun, life would be impossible on this planet. At least the intelligent life that we know of. Next, Bhagwan says that of Maruts I am Marichi. Then the Lord says that of stars he is the moon. All of us are familiar with the nursery rhyme which goes as, "Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky." Now, man has always wondered what those twinkling and shining stars actually are. Some say that those stars in the night sky are nothing but suns of other solar systems, while yet others maintain that they are moons similar to the moon which orbits our earth. From what Bhagwan is saying, it seems that these stars are all moons. And of all stars in the sky, since moon is the one that is closest to our earth and directly affects us through its influence on tides, minds, plant life and other life, it is therefore befitting for the Lord to say that of stars he is the moon. Also, astronomically and astrologically speaking, we always consider the position of the moon at the time of birth while studying birth charts or jatakams, and also the moon is considered to represent the mind, and the mind is the cause of bondage and liberation too. A mind which has been purified and destroyed becomes the cause of liberation, while an uncontrolled and stubborn mind laden with all sorts of desires and vasanas is the cause of man's bondage. Then in the next sloka, Bhagwan says that of Vedas, he is the Sama Veda. Next, the Lord says that of demigods, he is Indra. Right from the beginning of every day of Brahma, apart from Lord Krishna, Lord Vishnu, Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva and other major gods, the demigods too are considered to be important aspects of governors of the affairs of this creation. For example, Agni Dev controls fire, Vayu Dev controls air, Chandra Dev governs the moon, Kubera is the treasurer among the demigods, and so on. Just as Lord Krishna or Lord Vishnu is considered to be supreme among the gods, similarly, since time immemorial, Indra Dev has been considered to be the ruler and leader among the demigods. Indradev is also the ruler of Swargaloka or heaven, where most pious souls who fail to attain liberation go after the death of their material bodies here on earth. Also, there is the story from the Kena Upanishad which establishes the supremacy of Indra over all other Devatas as he came closest to knowing Brahman, who disguised as a Yaksha and tested and taught a lesson to the demigods when the latter had become proud of their victory that they had gained over a war in the Asuras, which was due to Brahman and not the singular strength of the Devas. So this is one reason why Indra is considered to be chief among the demigods. And since Bhagwan is highlighting all his glories of fullest expressions in creation, hence he says here that of Devas he is Indra. Next, Bhagwan says that of sense organs, he is the mind or manas. As we all must be knowing, there are 5 senses and their corresponding 5 sense organs. The senses are sight, sound, taste, touch and smell. And their corresponding 5 sense organs are eyes, ears, tongue, skin and nose. Now it is actually the mind which goes out through these five sense organs and experiences the five types of sense objects. Then these senses carry those stimuli to the mind which experiences and enjoys the world of objects. Since it is the mind which goes out through the sense organs, and since it is the mind which governs and directs the sense organs with the guidance of the intellect, therefore Bhagavan says that of all sense organs, he is mind or manas. Then finally, in the last part of the last of the above slokas, the Lord says that of living beings, he is consciousness or the living force. As we saw earlier, if consciousness or the self or Atman is not present in the creatures, they would be dead. And therefore, since consciousness is the cause of life in all living beings, hence Bhagavan says that of all living beings, he is consciousness or the living force. Now I shall move on to verses 23 to 26. The 23rd to 26th verses of the 10th chapter of the Gita are as follows. Of all the Rudras, I am Lord Shiva. Of the Yakshas and Rakshasas, I am the Lord of Wealth, Kuvera. Of the Vasus, I am Fire, Agni. And of mountains, I am Meru. Of priests, O Arjuna, know me to be the chief Brihaspati, the Lord of Devotion. Of generals, I am Skanda, the Lord of War. And of bodies of water, I am the ocean. Of the great sages, I am Bhrigu. Of vibrations, I am the transcendental Om. Of sacrifices, I am the chanting of the holy names, Japa. And of immovable things, I am the Himalayas. Of all trees, I am the holy fig tree. And among sages and demigods, I am Narada. Of the singers of the gods, the Gandharvas, I am Chitraratha. And of perfected beings, I am the sage Kapila. The commentary of the mentioned four slokas is as follows. Similarly, in all these above slokas too, Bhagavan is highlighting all those beings and entities of those features which are supreme or prominent among them. We can just go through these verses on our own and appreciate the fact that Bhagavan is supreme or supermost among all the aspects of creation, and hence I shall not go into the details of each aspect here. So friends, here ends the commentary on the 19th to 26th verses of the 10th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Stay tuned for more commentaries on the following verses of the Gita, and keep checking this channel for updates to this playlist titled Bhagavad Gita Commentary All 18 Chapters. And also do watch the other videos available in this channel so that you can enhance your knowledge of the eternal religion or Sanatan Dharma. And in case you have not already subscribed to this channel, then I suggest you do so that you may be updated about forthcoming videos uploaded to this channel. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great time ahead. Hari Om.